Hi guys, it's Hillary, and I'm here today with Sheree, owner of Sheree Lane. Hi Sheree.
Hi.
Sheree makes the most awesome bows, and even before I started my shop, she was one of the top three shops I admired on Instagram. So I'm super excited to get to learn more about her business and her story. So to start off, Sheree, what did you do before you started Sherbert Lane, and how did you decide to start your own business?
Oh, you're so sweet, by the way. That's so nice to hear,
Thanks.
especially from another shop owner. So I was originally going to school to be a dental hygienist, and that was always my passion and my goal ever since I was like in junior high. It was strange that I wanted to be a dental hygienist. So I went to school for that, and my husband graduated before me, and he got an internship just randomly, and it happened to be in Florida. And so I couldn't finish school in Utah where we were, and so we packed up and moved to Florida and had his first job there. And so I couldn't finish school, and so I was just like, well, what am I going to do? We decided to start a family, and I found out I was having a girl, and I was so excited because I like to do crafty things, and I had a sewing machine. I like to sew and stuff, and but nothing like big, but just little things. I started making like onesies and
Mm-hmm.
adding cute vintage fabric to them, and I would give them away as baby shower gifts or something. And so then when I found out I was having a girl, I thought, oh, she needs headbands too, and so I just used all leftover fabric that I had and started, designing little things and playing with my sewing machine and figuring out, how to make a cute headband. And so that's really how I got started. I got a lot of great feedback from my friends, and they thought, oh, her headband's so cute. You should try selling them. And I thought, well, I don't know. So I just decided to open up an Etsy shop,
Uh-huh.
and it surprisingly they sold, and of course, like a lot of my friends bought them, but then I think with social media starting to boom when I opened up, it was actually 4 years ago this week.
Okay.
It kind of helped boost my product, and so that's kind of where I began, is just because I found out I was having a girl, and I thought, oh, I need to make her some stuff, and
Cool.
so
So like an
yeah.
accidental entrepreneur.
Yeah, and it's not like I was searching to do something. It just kind of I stumbled upon it, and so I really blame my 3-year-old.
Yeah. So was
So
Instagram big then yet, or did you mostly
so
do Etsy?
right, so I just did Etsy and like Facebook kind of, I started a Facebook page, but I never really went to my Facebook page. I discovered Instagram, and it was just for your own personal life. But then I thought, oh, it would be so great to post maybe a picture of a bow and just see what people say, and it turned out to be great. And so I thought, well, I need to make a business Instagram and then
Uh-huh.
go from there.
That's awesome. So how long did it take for you to build enough momentum for it to legitimately be considered like a business?
Oh yeah. It was pretty good for, maybe like after 6 months, I thought, oh, okay, this is going pretty good. I'm pretty busy. And then, so yeah, I would probably say it took about 6 months to actually be consistent with things.
Okay.
And, I never thought I would be where I am today. But I'm so grateful for the success that I've had, and it's just so great. I love doing it.
Yeah, it's fun. I know. Was there a turning point for you where I know you said, 6 months in, you thought this could be a business, but when you thought, I actively want to grow this and make this like my main source of business?
Income.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I That's a hard question because like I never really intentionally wanted to do this. So that's kind of a hard question for me because I never thought it would be as big as it is today. And I don't know. I kind of just over the past few years, it's just progressively getting better and better. And I'm like, okay, well, when am I this, when do you think I'm going to stop doing this? But it's just going so great that I can't stop. I don't know. It's a hard question to
Yeah, no,
answer.
that's totally. So I was telling you about that podcast I listened to, and he always starts with a failure moment because he says it allows the entrepreneur to really connect with the listeners in a better way. So throughout this journey of building Sherbert Lane, what was your biggest challenge, your biggest moment of failure?
Oh, well, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, I feel like there's been many, but the main one I feel like is when I was a vendor for Nordstrom, and that was like the
Awesome.
most intimidating thing ever, and something, bad happened.
Oh, really?
Well, not bad, but more on my part. I was so new at it, and I didn't really know how to really run a business. And
Huh?
my husband is a finance major and is getting his MBA, so I turned to him and soaked in all his knowledge, and he helped me out with all of that stuff. But what happened was I kept receiving purchase orders from them, and I'm a one-woman show, and I had just had my second baby,
Oh my gosh.
and they sent me purchase orders that were huge, and they wanted them in like 2 weeks, and I'm just like, okay, I'll try to get it on that date.
Uh-huh.
And so I would hire someone to help me, and long story short, one of the purchase orders that I shipped, and it was a big one, and I was like, yes, I got this done, it's on time. They never received it, and it just got lost. And I tried so hard to find it. It never got to them, or it did, and they just couldn't find it. I have no idea, but I was like heartbroken because it was all that hard work for nothing. And I just think, like, where are all of those headbands to this day? There's like hundreds of them. So that's one of my biggest failures.
So how did that resolve? Did they end your contract or something?
No, I mean, I got a couple more purchase orders after that, but after, that one, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to either, I don't know. I feel like along the way, I was so stressed out. I had a new baby and I was doing it all by myself. I think I kind of did it in a hurry, not like the work itself, but like, okay, I got all these done. Now I got to hurry and package it and ship it to the post office. I think I didn't like take a deep breath, and I don't know. Looking back, I'm just like, what honestly went wrong? Like, I have no idea. It's the craziest thing, but that's one of my biggest failures.
Wow, that's a good story though. I wonder where those goals are. Someone's gonna
I
find a
know.
jackpot one day.
I'm right. I'm like, oh my gosh, whoever got that scored.
I
So
know.
anyway.
Was that worth it to you to do Nordstrom? Like, obviously, you get the excitement of having it in the store, but
Right.
did they purchase at such a low price that it wasn't worth it, or?
So that's what I've been juggling. I've been thinking about doing it again. But obviously there's newer ways that I will go about it this time. But the margins aren't very great. But the reason why I pursued it is because it's such an amazing opportunity, and it's just such a great accomplishment for me being able to see my product at Nordstrom for that time.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know, really cool just to say that my little small business got to be in Nordstrom, and
Totally.
they sold great. So that was worth it to me.
Oh yeah.
Even though I lost a huge purchase order, it's still
And
worth it.
lots of sleep, I'm sure.
Right.
So where do you find your support, like your community? Like being a creative business owner and a mom, do you have, I don't know, like are your friends business owners, or do you follow certain blogs?
I have a lot of friends who own shops as well.
Okay.
And it's been really fun seeing how their business progresses and collaborating with each other. It's always fun for me to do that. But as far as like support and stuff, I don't know what it is, but where I just moved and where the community that I'm in has been so supportive. And I don't know if it's because I'm from here, but I don't know. It's just so great. And I, I don't know. All my friends have just been so wonderful. And even people who I just meet on Instagram have become my friends, like loyal customers that have been with me from the get-go 4 years ago. They're still great customers, and I've become great close friends with them. And I would say I have a lot of support that way. And
Cool.
anyway, I don't know if I answered the question.
No, that's good. So ultimately, what is your why? Like, why are you in business? Why do you stay up late at night making these bows? Why do you do what you do?
I just love, you're probably the same way. I love creating like cute little things and seeing them on other people's kids and being like, oh, I made that, you know. But it's also fun to make little people fashionable, you know, and I don't know, it's just so fun to me to be up to date on little kids' fashion. It's really fun. And it has been hard juggling family time with my business, and I'm a mom first, and a wife, I guess you could say. A mom first. And so right now, after 4 years of doing this, I've found a comfortable schedule that allows me to put them first, my family first, and then tend to my business. It just seems to work out. I mean, it can be stressful at times, like going to bed at 2 a.m. A lot. But it's so rewarding at the end of the day, you know. I mean, not only the income's great, and also just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, you probably know what I'm talking about, but it's just really fun to see other people loving things that you created, you know, and yeah, that's why I really do it. And I don't know if that sounds good at all, but
It doesn't have to sound good. It has to be your why.
that's why I do it. But yeah, there are times where I'm like, why do I do that? I mean, I have like bags under my eyes and my kids are screaming, but I don't know. It's just really rewarding, and seeing my friends and customers putting them on their kids. It's just fun.
No,
It's just fun to see.
So I was going to jump ahead to a question that you just semi-answered about the work-home balance. But I'm curious, like, what is your arrangement? You said you figured some things out. Like, when do you work? When do you not?
Oh, man. Okay, so, well, I feel like when I'm out running errands, the places we go are Hobby Lobby, Joann's, the post office, and like those are the errands we run every single day. But so I try to, okay, we wake up early, and I try to just spend the entire morning with the kids. We do something fun because we love being outside and doing some fun activities. And whether that's hitting the gym or Chick-fil-A for lunch or Target, or but then when it comes nap time, I crave for nap time. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they both take naps at the same time, which is glorious. Awesome. And so they have to go to bed, or mom gets angry. So when they're napping, I just start working. And right when 8 o'clock comes around, they go to bed, and I start working. And depending, on the season, I'm either going to bed at 1 or 2, and, non-season times, it's, usually midnight or something. But I've been comfortable with that. And for some reason, I see the light at the end of the tunnel of the day when I can go to bed at 10 p.m., same time as my husband, or, but, right now it doesn't bother me that bad. I mean, it seems to be working just fine, and I don't know, I like it. I like it.
So how many hours total a week do you think it is?
I would say about 30.
Okay.
Then again, depending on the season and how crazy it is. But yeah, I would say about 30.
Okay, which is a lot when you're a full-time mom.
Totally. It's nonstop.
Yeah, I get it. What would you consider your personal strengths as a business owner? Like, what do you do well?
I would say my customer service is on top of it, even though it's just me. I do everything. I sorry, some guy's going crazy down the road. I feel like I want to put myself in the customer's shoes, and if I were to be ordering something, which I do all the time online, I would want them to respond quickly, or in a nice way, or I like to just be positive, and the customer's always right, but I would say my customer service is pretty good. It's one of my strengths in my business.
Cool. And I would definitely add probably your marketing, because your Instagram looks great.
Oh,
The
thank
bows
you.
are
Yeah,
awesome.
I try, and I definitely have learned from other great shops. You always learn from other people, and I it's always an accomplishment to say, I have this many followers, but, it really doesn't even matter. I feel like if your product is good quality and you have good customer service, I think the following doesn't really matter. And sometimes people can get caught up in that. And, sometimes you're like, oh, why don't I have this many followers? But sometimes you just have to hit yourself and be like, that doesn't matter. It's what you're selling,
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's like, gosh, the thoughts that go through my mind sometimes are literally ridiculous. I'm like, man, my followers aren't as engaged as this shop. Maybe if I changed the filter colors of my bows and made them more streamlined, they would like come back more often. It's
They're like, oh, she changed her color scheme. I'm going to stay on her
no,
page.
like this one's more neutral. Mine's too colorful. Maybe I don't know. It's bizarre, but I get it.
Yeah. I try to stay away from thinking that way. It's hard, but you just have to stay away from that.
No,
anyway.
totally. So you mentioned you don't really have help, so you literally do everything.
I literally am a one-woman show, and like I said, with the Nordstrom orders, I had hired a friend to help me.
Okay.
But every single day, I'm like, okay, I need to hire someone. I need to hire somebody. But then it's just like, it seems like more work to me to like have to teach someone everything that I do. And I'm kind of particular and make each piece perfect in how I want it. And I know I could teach someone to do that, but it's just, again, it's the time. And it's like, okay, when is there going to be time? My ultimate goal this year is to learn how to manufacture my things, because if I do want to get into Nordstrom again, that's definitely something that I have to do.
Okay.
I have a friend whose business is thriving, and it's only under a year old, and the best thing that she ever did was manufacture her things. And so she's someone that I've been reaching out to, and I need to just make the move and just do it. So,
what shop? Do you care sharing what shop it is?
Sure. Yeah, it's Rags to Rach's.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of my best friends started that shop. Yeah, Rachel, and she's just so great.
And she just gets it all manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I know, it's like amazing.
It is worth it. Like I don't know if you know, but I don't make a single bow anymore.
You don't?
No.
I had no idea.
And I like feel guilty saying it, because I started because I love to make the bows and I still design them. But I have an 18-year-old who is like ready to work. And I took the time to create, I created an anal binder. It's like detail oriented.
Good.
And,
Good.
Then we had like a 2-week trial period where I was like obsessing over the details, like just the degrees of the points, like everything. And now, like, I placed a big order. She delivers it to me in a week. We have a bow drop at Panera, and I pay her high. I pay her like $2 a bow, so she gets like $15 an hour.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's worth it to me to have my time back.
So, does she go to school? Is she in high school still?
She graduated. She's saving for college, and she works at a coffee shop part-time, and she wanted more work.
That's
amazing.
Found
her through a friend on Facebook. And I had one before her I found through Craigslist.
So that's where I'm nervous. Like, maybe I should talk to you about this, but that's where I get nervous. It's like I'm giving them all of my fabric, and then they're going to their house. Mm-hmm. And, like, how can you trust somebody? And you know who else oh, I don't know if I should say. I have another friend who does the same thing. She has 3 seamstresses, and she gives them all their stuff, and same thing. I think it's amazing, but it's like,
Yeah.
I get nervous.
No, it's true, because my first seamstress actually, like, I haven't heard from her in 2 weeks, and I don't know, I didn't know we ended our deal. I just haven't heard from her. And so
Oh,
luckily, she doesn't have anything, she doesn't have my fabric anymore, but you never know.
right.
So,
Hmm.
but I mean, it's worked. I like to think you can trust people like that, but there's definitely risk involved.
Yeah.
But it is so worth it to
I was going to
not have
say,
to make them.
I think the pros are way out the cons, because as far as like manufacturing, my friend Rachel, she said that sometimes they mess up huge orders, but they pay for it. But it's like, but then you lose all that fabric, it's like,
Yeah, I know.
but it's so worth it though in the end. It's like you make
Totally.
more money doing it that way. Well, we'll have to talk
Yeah.
about how you do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So what type of lifestyle does your business afford you? So, I mean, is it like full-time income, or is it like vacation money, or money for cute clothes for my kids?
Yeah. This business of mine, like I said, it wasn't something that I planned on. It's just grown over time. And I'm so grateful I started it, because looking back, I'm like, okay, we were just out of college. And so it helped us boost, our living expenses right out of college. Everyone's so poor after
Oh, yeah.
college. And we immediately started a family, so that helped. And especially when we moved to Chicago. So after Florida, we moved to Chicago, and the cost of living there is so expensive. And it was crucial that I made like a certain amount every month, like within our budget. I had to make this amount in order for us to live comfortably.
Okay.
And so I'm just so grateful I've had it, and it helped us get through, those financial times.
Yeah. So your husband was on board. It wasn't like this was your side project. This was your guys' combined
Right.
income.
Yeah. Oh, well, mine with his. Yeah. But yes, it definitely was crucial that I worked, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to live like we would want to,
Exactly.
and
Yep.
so and to buy cute clothes,
Well, it's nice when you like stayed up till 2 making it. You can kind of justify paying like any crazy amount of money for this like handmade bonnet.
Right.
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but that's what.
Totally. Yes. No, I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah.
So, what's your favorite social media platform, and why?
You know what? I have to be completely honest. I only use Instagram, and I would say 80% of my customers are from Instagram. It honestly, I don't know what I would do without it. I would still get sales through Etsy, and I used to be really loyal to my blog, but it's been years since I've updated that. So I had my Etsy information on my blog, and Facebook. I rarely go on Facebook. I don't think anyone really does. But yeah, I would say Instagram is my go-to every single day.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's all of our go-tos. I mean, it's just an awesome platform.
Yeah, I agree. It's so great. It's so easy, and so great. I love it.
So what has been your biggest business win, or your biggest success so far?
I would say being a vendor for Nordstrom, it was just so great seeing my product in Nordstrom.
Yeah.
In any store it would be great, a boutique or whatever, but yeah, Nordstrom was the big winner for me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I can speak for everyone saying that's probably everyone's goal.
Well, and I mean, as far as like back to the following that we have, it is a big accomplishment. Like if you hit, 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000, then again, it doesn't really matter. But then again, it is kind of a cool thing to, have under you. Like, oh yeah, I have this many people who are interested in following my shop and like my things. That's a big win for me too.
Yeah, no, totally. I think your mic might be hitting your pretty jewels.
Oh, is that good?
Yeah. You probably can't hear it. This happened on my other interview. It was me that was making noise the whole time, and I didn't know.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
I probably should stop moving. I'm a spaz.
Do you care if I ask like how that came about?
No, sure. It's from Instagram.
Really?
One of their um, people, I don't know what we would call her position, maybe vendor lady. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, she contacted me on Instagram, and I had just had my baby, and so she contacted me. Literally, my baby was like a month old, and she's like, "Hey, I'm interested in selling your things in Nordstrom and online through Nordstrom." And I was like, "Say what? Nordstrom?" So I was like, "Okay, I need to pursue this." So yeah, it just went from there, and
Wow.
everything happened so fast. But I'm glad I did it.
So you literally just got scouted. You didn't even have to do anything.
I I I feel bad. Like
It's awesome.
I wish I could say, I tried to get in there, but yeah, it was that easy. But it could happen to anyone,
Yeah.
Maybe they were just testing out new vendors, and I was one of them. And I mean, it was great because they had me. Is it doing it
No,
again?
it's not.
It was great because they had my stuff in a new Nordstrom that they opened, and that's
Okay.
where they started. And it was great to hear her say that the first day that Nordstrom opened, that they almost completely sold out. It was like
Oh my
80%. And
gosh.
I was like, yes.
That is
So
awesome.
I know it was a cool accomplishment. So I was really proud of myself. But then it just got crazy after that because they kept wanting more and more and more.
Yeah.
So,
Did you end it with them?
yeah. So I had to tell her, I said, hey, look, I can't give you 1,000 headbands in a week. I'm sorry. I should have just been more prepared, and I totally was a newbie at everything,
Mm-hmm.
and so now I'm definitely prepared if this ever happens. I that's why I want to look more into
Yeah,
manufacturing or
totally.
hiring like what you've done.
And you have a relationship with them now, right? So you could reach back out at
I
any
could,
time.
yeah, I
That's
totally
cool.
could, but I just want to be prepared.
Yeah. No, totally. So what is like for this year, for 2015, what's your ultimate vision for your business?
Manufacturing.
Okay.
That's my big goal. That's what I told myself. January 1st, we're going to manufacture and try to get into Nordstrom again.
Okay.
I think it would be wonderful, and
Yeah.
it would totally boom, boom business for sure.
And once you get manufacturing figured out, you just scale it, right? I mean, you just order
Yeah,
more and more.
order more and more. Yeah, yeah, totally. And um, it's just me. I'm the one who's holding back, and like I said, I'm just comfortable where I'm at right
Hmm.
now. I mean, I'm a mom first, and so it would be hard to just totally change my whole schedule.
Yeah, no, totally.
So,
So what do you think? Is there anything holding you back from between where you are now and where you ultimately want to be with your business? Not even at the end of this year, but total end game.
like, stop calling it quits.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of pondering about this actually, and so when I read the question, I was just like, oh man, I got to come to terms with this. And I mean, I would like to have another baby soon.
Uh-huh.
And I think having three might throw me for a loop. Two was hard, but I got through it. But I think three might be a little bit more difficult. And so I would love to have another baby this year if all comes to be. And, it's hard because I've come such a long way, and I've learned everything on my own and over the past 4 years. And so it'd be hard just to call it quits. So I don't know. I think that's but then again, it's so rewarding of everything that I do, and my goal, like of getting
Yeah.
back into Nordstrom, that's what's holding me back, and I think I could totally do it.
Oh, and I think I may have articulated it wrong. I don't mean stop and call it quits. I guess I mean
Oh,
by end game, I mean you've reached a point in your business where you're like, this is where I want Sheree Lane to be. This is
oh,
how.
to stay.
Yeah, and like
Okay,
this is, whether that's you're not making any bows, but you're just advertising for it, or like you're completely hands off, it's just running. Like, what does
right.
that look like for you?
Oh wow. Well, I just opened a whole new can of
I
beer.
like don't want you to quit.
Oh no, no, I probably won't. Yeah, I think I need to test out kind of what you're doing is just hire someone, see how it goes, test it out, and then I think I think that's where I would be the most comfortable, is when I don't have to make the product myself and just actually run the business part of it.
Okay.
I think that would be the end game. Like, that would be where I'm most comfortable at.
Cool.
To answer your question,
Yeah, no,
sorry.
totally. This is kind of a random question, but if you could do anything in the world with no possibility of failure, and money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing?
Well, first of all, I'd be on the beach by myself, soaking in the sun. That's my favorite thing to do in the entire world. But honestly, if I could do anything in the world with knowing that there would be no failure, I would love to be a mom to like a ton of kids. I know that might sound weird and that it has nothing to do with business, but that's what I would want to be. If I knew that every child that I raised would be a success, I mean, it's hard because that's how I feel now. I hope that my kids will not be failures, but I would have a ton of kids if there's no failure.
If there's no failure. No, and money wasn't an issue, right?
And money was an issue, and my body still looked, if my body looked good.
No, that would be awesome. I love kids.
Yeah. Anyway.
If you could sit down with any entrepreneur for a 2-hour lunch and pick their brain, who would it be and why?
Oh man, I have a lot, but I'm sure a lot of people say the same people, but I actually think Susan Peterson would be amazing from Freshly Picked. And I know she holds like a bunch of seminars and stuff, and it'd be so great to go hear her speak. And I would just love to pick her brain. And, we've kind of all heard her story through Shark Tank or whatever, but I think it's amazing just to, hear really how she does it all. And then also I'm really good friends with Jocelyn Patty from Lemons and Lace, and she's helped me a ton, and I would love to learn more from her because her business has boomed in a short amount of time as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like I mentioned, my friend Rachel from Rags to Riches, she's done a wonderful job in her business, so it'd be fun to pick her brain. And then also Jen Bloomies over at Bloomies Handmade. She's been in the business for a long time. Well, maybe not a long time, but I feel like longer than me. And she's done a phenomenal job. And so I would like to see what her secret is, too.
Are these all friends that were friends first, or are they like cyber friends?
Jocelyn, we're from the same place, and we have a lot of the same friends. But yeah, I would say more, we got to know each other better through online. And then Susan, I'm really good friends with her brother, and so I don't know Susan personally, but I want to say I do. But no, I know her brother pretty well, and I actually reached out to her years ago when I knew her brother, and that's when she started making like little bags with like zippers. I don't know if you remember, but she used to make like little bags with zippers and like for your purse or whatever. But yeah, I reached out to her a long time ago, so that was fun.
Cool.
But yeah, so those are some of the few entrepreneurs that I would like to pick. Right.
I think it's awesome that like someone like Susan is not only successful with her business, but that she's literally influenced so many people. I mean, you probably I asked this question, and I think her name will probably be 95%. Right. But it's really inspiring and awesome that she's like takes an interest in sharing her knowledge and growing a business. Yeah,
I agree. And she's just so real. Oh, actually, I don't know why I said I have never met her. I have met her. I met her at, she was at the Land of Nod in Chicago. And so I got to meet her that way. And she's just so real and down to earth. And I think that's just what's so great. You don't want to be like, stuck up or, like too good to talk to your customers. But she's just so normal. And I loved it. That's
awesome. So what advice would you give yourself when you were just starting, knowing everything you know now?
Do all that you can to put your name out there, and your product, because I think that's really how you get started, and create something that's like new and different. I think there's a lot of shops who have the same style, same fabric, whatever. It's always great to use different fabric and have a cool design and people can see your product and be like, oh, that's a Sherbert Lane headband or something. I think that's really important to have your own look and own design, just so so your stuff can stick out of the crowd, because there's so many competitors out there. And I don't know, it's just hard because a lot of people do the same things, which is totally fine. We all feed off of each other, but it's always fun to have your own little twist to it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. So then, go ahead.
Sorry. Another thing is, don't be afraid to ask other shops for advice or help. I always view it as a compliment. I'm just always so flattered when a fellow shop asks me for some help or advice, and I'm so happy to help them with something because it's such a compliment to me.
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
don't be afraid to ask.
I'm going to ask you a ton of stuff.
Okay.
No, that reminds me of okay, people make fun of me for this, but I seriously love Tony Robbins because I own another business with my husband, and I listen to everything he puts out. But he made a little diagram before how you succeed really fast and then you hit kind of a wall and you can't figure out that next step. And a lot of people just get super frustrated and just stay there forever. But the easiest way to then get past it is literally just find someone who knows how to do it, who's done it already, and ask them. And then they'll tell you. And then you'll just keep going. So I think there's tons of value in just asking someone who's done it before and hoping that they are willing to share and not, keep it to themselves.
I mean, what's there to lose, really? It's you're just asking, it's and if they say no, oh well, move to the next person.
I know. No, I totally believe that.
Yeah.
So these are just a couple quick questions to end with, some fun facts. What do you do for fun?
I've mentioned I'm an outside person. We love to be outside. I feel like I'm a sun worshiper, which can be bad, but we just love to be in the sun. I think Florida did a number on us because we were so spoiled and lived on the beach. But I love to work out. My poor kids, we drive up to the gym. They're like, no, not the gym again. So the gym, I love to play volleyball. I played college volleyball, so that's one of my passions. And I love to shop for kids' clothes. I always see something that's so adorable that's mini size, and I wish it came in my size. So
cool.
Anyway.
Yeah. Do you have a morning ritual or routine that you feel helps you start your day off
yes.
right way?
Right. We wake up and I had only had 6 hours of sleep, of course. And we go to the gym and I get the kids off to their activities, preschool, dance, whatever. And then we play.
Okay.
We like to play. So.
No, that sounds awesome what you said, just some uninterrupted kid time in the morning.
Right. I love it. It's the greatest. And I don't want them to ever feel like I'm neglecting them or whatever because I'm working, because sometimes I feel guilty of that. And so I try to be my best at
Great.
paying attention to them. Yeah.
What's your favorite quote, or do you have a favorite success quote?
I'm not, there's people who are quote people that love and remember quotes. I am not good at it. My husband can remember anything. It's so crazy. I'm like, how do you remember that? It's so crazy. So, but one that I love is through my church, and I'll just read it to you because I have it written down here. It's, when we learn to expect more success than failure in life, we soon will develop an attitude of success, which I think is so true because it really is just your attitude and how you view it all. And it's also making an effort too. And so if you make an effort and you have a good attitude about it, you will become successful, Totally. So I just really like that one.
No, that reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. It's whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Right.
Because it's all about it's whatever you think, you will achieve that if you just continue to think that way. So
I agree.
Kind of motivating.
Yeah, it is.
So I asked you who you would sit down with, but who are your top 3 entrepreneur inspirations, just in general? They don't even have to be creative business owners.
I really, don't make fun of me, but I really like Ellen DeGeneres.
I like her.
I think she's so great and just so positive and upbeat, and also has a great business going on. And
Totally.
she's one of yeah, she's one of the inspirations that I love. Gosh, I can't really. I mean, Susan Peterson again,
Mm-hmm.
great. Um, and it kind of brings me to the next a couple questions down. It's um, what best business book have you
Uh-huh.
read? And I put down Dave Ramsey.
What, the financial one?
The finance guru guy. And I would say he's a good inspiration too, because I don't know if you've ever taken his classes or read his CD or book and
I
listened to his
have.
CDs, but he totally is. And he's like, he totally gets you in a great mood to save money and to budget. And it doesn't help that my husband is like a finance freak. And so he's like a Dave Ramsey Jr. So I would say Dave Ramsey too, because he does help you with your business
Uh-huh.
and gets you on your feet. So I think those.
That's awesome. And then what's the funniest thing your kids have ever said?
Oh my gosh, so many. I'm sure everyone has the same, but my 3-year-old, hilarious. She lately has been saying, "Hey mom, boys smell like dirt and girls smell like flowers." And I'm like, "You're right. You're
Just on
so
her own?
right." Yeah, she's on her own. The
That's
weirdest
funny.
thing. And then her latest quote is, "I'm gonna pinch your cottage cheese buns." And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm
Are
sure
you looking at mine or at dad's?
she had to have heard that from someone.
Yeah. So
That's so
anyway,
funny.
yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have any other closing thoughts or advice to all the handmade business owners watching?
I hope people are watching. I probably like such a goof and they're probably like, okay, who's the next gal? Um, I don't just keep doing it. Don't ever give up. And I mean, there may be times where you're like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Like, it's just so competitive. Like that's one thing that I keep thinking. And you just have to keep designing and have your own twist to your product. And that's main advice that I would do, and learn from others. Like we talked about, don't be afraid to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like ask away. There's so many ways you can reach people. It's hopefully they respond, but I would say that's my biggest advice too.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to
You're
do
welcome.
this. It
Thank
is
you.
it is almost 45 minutes long. I tried to make it short,
Sorry.
but I hope people love all the content.
Yeah.
Because yeah, no, you had some great stories and definitely some great business advice. And so for all of you out there watching as well, thank you guys for following along, and we look forward to seeing you for the next interview.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Hillary.